Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Live from Harlem, New York City, it's the Ramble with me. I'm Alex Bennett. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a guy I haven't seen for at least, 20 years, you figure?
I would say at least 20, yeah.
Well, let me see. Yep. I left that morning show. When?
Right. So it'd be 95, maybe? 96?
97. So
97.
97, 100, let's see, 17. This is getting to be like 26 years.
Jesus.
26 years.
That's not happening anymore.
Yeah. Now,
we will not allow that.
No, we will not allow that.
No.
Even if you are, where are you calling us from?
I am about 50 miles from Reno.
50 miles from Reno. Let me do something here. I got to do something quickly because I got to close this door, which I left open.
I figured he was running to the bathroom.
We've got we got the cleaning woman in today, and she's using the vacuum cleaner in the other rooms. So, anyway, where were we?
I was outside Reno. You were in Harlem?
I'm in Harlem. So you're outside of Reno. You're in what city?
Fallon.
Fallon.
It's where the Top Gun base is. So a lot of practicing bombings and things like that.
First of all, before we go any further, okay, how did you wind up in Fallon?
Well, I retired from, doing whatever. And my mother lives out here. So I came out there to kind of, keep an eye on them as they get older.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of vision.
Yeah.
There was nobody else to do that.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I do. You got to keep an eye on people as they get older. You want to, be around them more, things like that.
Oh, well, then you should move out here and take care of me.
I know. Well, it was either Alex. It was either her or you.
Let me ask you, how old is your mother?
I was going to say you're exactly the same age.
83.
Yeah.
So I could date her.
You could, but she married a guy I went to high school with, so can't have that.
Yeah. Are you married, by the way?
Yeah, I got somebody around the house here.
Somebody around the house.
Not here now, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, so we haven't seen each other in like 20,
it's a long time.
27 years? I don't know. It's forever. And we had a falling out at one point. We won't go into that.
Right.
Yeah. And so we didn't talk to each other for 27 years.
Yeah. We decided to not talk. And strangely enough, I had a falling out with my father that lasted about that long too. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, what happens is that you have falling outs with people, and then all of a sudden one day when you finally see them 20 years later, I had a friend, Bruce David, who worked down at Hustler, and he thought I was mad at him.
Right.
And I thought he was mad at me. So we didn't talk to each other for like 20 years.
Right.
And then all of a sudden when we got together, we realized we couldn't remember why we didn't talk to each other for 20 years.
Over the years, I have people ask me about you all the time, and we have a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah.
And they go, you two need to get back together.
Yeah.
You two need to talk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. And it went on and on and on. And then I started saying, I can't handle this anymore. Either I need to call the guy.
Yeah.
And he needs to tell me that, we can never speak ever again because, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll know. Or I keep having these warm and fuzzy feelings, and
Yeah.
I think I need to make that call.
Well, I've learned at my age, you only nurse a grudge so far, and that so far is when that nursing that grudge is hurting your nipples. You
Right,
know,
right. Or 27 years.
Well, I mean,
You know.
it just gets ridiculous after a while, and you know, I can somewhat remember why we had a falling out, but it doesn't matter at this point in my life.
No, it doesn't. And I even would like to take full blame for the whole thing. And just because.
And it had nothing to do with the radio show or anything else. It was
No.
It was personal stuff.
It was a personal thing, and it was just,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
I said, we don't need to talk about it. It's gone. It's dissipated, and you know, we've been talking for a few weeks now, and I'm sure what's going to happen at this point is all these people, because I haven't said a word to anybody, are going to go,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, you two are talking! What?
Yeah.
When did this happen?"
Well, now let it set up what you did for me on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I always used to describe you when they said, "What is Chuck's job exactly?" And I said, "Oh, he's our stunt guy."
Right.
You know, because you would go out and do things. You know, do little stunts. Give them a couple of examples.
Well, the weird part of the whole thing was I was at how it all started. I was at Lollapalooza, and I had this booth, and I was selling human remains. And
yes,
your
that
guys,
was it. That was it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. And your guys.
And what was you were selling human remains?
Yeah, fingers and toe bones, jewelry.
Oh, you're okay. This was dead people jewelry.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a cannibal-ware because everybody's trying to look cool. That was my thing. And it was, I don't know, Curtis and Cynthia D or somebody came by, and they were looking for somebody to interview, and they shoved a microphone in my face, and we talked for a couple of minutes, and then an hour later, I get this call going, "Hey, this was Friday, on Monday, can you come into the studio?" And I was like, "For what? Didn't we just have an interview?" And she goes, No, we'd like you, Alex would like you to come in the studio. Okay, whatever. I go up there, you and I have a chat, and apparently somebody saw something between the two of us. And Thursday, I came in to do my little thing, and Thursday I get this other call going, "Hey, can you come in again?" And I'm like, "Now we've done the jewelry thing twice. What are we going to do?"
Right.
And she goes, "No, you're just going to sit there." And that was the beginning of the nightmare. I guess.
Wait a minute, the nightmare? The nightmare you call working?
You and I.
Wait a minute.
You and I.
Working for me was a nightmare. Well, I'll see you in another 20 years.
Yeah, it was fun. No, it was the weirdest, most entertaining thing I think I've ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, and we really had fun together.
Yeah.
Outside the studio, inside the studio, vacations.
Mm-hmm.
We had some amazing vacations.
Yeah. So what happened was that Chuck was a kind of a stunt guy. That's the way I can best explain it. And he would go out and do stuff. And I never asked you basically what you were going to do, or I was given a brief description of what you were going to do. So that it would seem kind of new to me. In other words, if I didn't know what was going on, I would then react to it in the way an audience member would react to it.
Right.
So, and it describes some of the things you did.
Well, we tried on Mondays. We kind of fell into it, going down to City Hall and waiting for people to get let out of the drunk tank. So it was all hookers and weirdos.
I don't even remember that. But
oh yeah, and we called it "Why are you here?" And that was the only question. Why are you here?
And you did it. And you did this by how do we do this? By phone, right?
Phone, right? We had that phone with a microphone hooked to it.
Yeah.
A bag phone, old bag phone back in the day.
Yeah.
And we found that people will literally walk out of jail and confess to everything. Everything at all. It was so fun.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. And they were like, "Oh, sure, we'll tell you, blah, 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 blah." they'll go at it. And,
I didn't even remember that, but what a great idea that was.
It was wonderful. You know, people, if you come up to them with a microphone, will say just about
Is there
anything.
a certain time where they let everybody every day out of the drunk tank?
It worked out well for us, 7 a.m.
7 a.m. Wow. And then you started getting into doing weirder stuff.
Yeah, well,
now you got to remember to begin with, Chuck, at least in those days, and it looks like he still is, was a rather person with a decent amount of girth.
I got more than that now.
Yeah. And so for him to stand out in, say, the middle of the street, almost naked, is not exactly a sight for sore eye, or it makes an eye sore, actually.
Yeah, it's, you know, we learned early on that fat guy naked, always funny.
Yeah, well, but what you did, you used it not only as a prop, but you used it as part of what you were doing. Like, for instance, you would slather yourself with peanut butter,
right,
and then hand out crackers to people to scoop the peanut butter off of you and eat it.
Right, and we never thought anybody would do it. Matter of fact, initially, I wasn't even the guy to do it. We went around the studio trying to get somebody to do it, and finally the producer goes, "Nobody wants to do this, Chuck." And I go, "Okay, I'll go do it."
Yeah.
And so we did, and it turns out that people will eat off a fat guy who's not wearing much clothing.
Well, speak for yourself.
Lots of them. Not just like it happened once, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't some random homeless guy. It was like listeners would come down and eat off me.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it got even weirder. At one point, Chevy's, I think, hired me to become a buffet at the restaurant.
Yes, they slathered you with what, salsa and
They made me a giant burrito. And you just start shaking your head. It's like, are you sure this is entertainment? I'm not sure, right? One bad idea after another.
There was a point at which I started, I think, feel uncomfortable with some of it. You know?
Really?
Well, I went, you know, is this what my show business life has come to? Sending a guy out into the street with peanut butter all over his body? You know?
Yeah, I was confused by the whole thing myself,
But you became part of the cast of the show. You were there. You were there every morning, weren't you?
I was there every morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we started out talking kind of like we are now, and then I'd go out on the road and, you know, cause some kind of havoc somewhere.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Well, I can remember a nice thing we did where it cost so much money to get across the Golden Gate Bridge that if you had two people in the car, it was free. So I'd go out there and stand until somebody needed a ride across the bridge, and then they'd get to go for free, and we'd interview them in the car as we went across the bridge.
Yeah.
And those worked really well as well. And then I'd hike myself back over to the other side of the bridge and start over again.
Start over again. So, I mean, the stuff you did was very inventive. And
it was different. I said it was different.
Did you put that video compilation up on YouTube?
Yeah.
Is it there? What is it under? Just put in Chuck Farnham?
Yeah, I think that's what you have to do.
And it's a bunch of things showing exactly the things we're talking about. And one of the things that was there, and the one that got us in the most trouble, do you remember what it was?
Well, I think she left the country because of it. I'm not...
We hated Danielle Steele.
Yeah.
With a passion, because her books were so badly written, and they were so cheap. But she was making a fortune, so much so that she bought the old Spreckles Mansion, which is, if anybody wants to see the Spreckles Mansion, go watch the movie Pal Joey. That's supposedly the home of the woman in Pal Joey. Okay?
Wow.
Huge home. And she was just, I don't know, what can we call it? She was just a piece of work.
I don't know, just creepy. The whole thing was just bizarre.
Yeah.
She's writing these books that you and I couldn't care less about.
Yeah.
They were just not good.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been raking in the cash. living in the mansion, and we just kept getting more upset every day about it.
What happened is I noticed that she wrote this one book. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. And I was in a book club with Penn and Teller. And what we would do is we would take lousy books like that, read them, and then discuss them with each other on this little bulletin board that we had. Okay.
Nice.
So we did this thing, and it wasn't bad, actually, to read and then talk about, because it was so terrible that we had a lot to talk about, make jokes about, and so on.
Right.
And what I noticed was, in the first chapter, she's got a 14-year-old girl having sex with a stable boy. And I said, isn't this kiddie porn? But
Right.
she wasn't kiddie porn. She was Danielle Steele.
Right.
So what we decided to do was to send you out. Opposite the Spreckles mansion, there's a park.
Yes, there is.
And we sent you out there with a big inflatable rubber doll.
Yeah.
And as I on the air, I was reading from Danielle Steele's book, this book.
Well,
And
well,
you,
I was having,
yeah, and you were, how can we put it, demonstrating the book.
yeah, I was having sex with a doll in the park.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I was doing.
And
I think Tony Kameen was there. I think
Mm-hmm.
you sent the lawyer with me.
Fred Reamer.
Reamer was there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it started out with 2 days before that, when we kept talking about it, Danielle's lawyers kept calling the station,
Yes.
going, don't, whatever you're thinking about, no, don't
Yeah.
do this. And you and I are sitting around going, she keeps saying no. Well, that's not good.
Well, when we hear no from Danielle Steele, that's like hearing the word yes.
Yeah, it's like, well, we didn't know what we were going to do, but here, let's allow me to think about it for a few minutes.
Yeah. We'll get back to you on this, by the way. Oh, hey, the show's it's 10 o'clock. The show's over with. We're not going to do it anymore today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So tomorrow,
anyway, anyway, we had our lawyer. I had my lawyer. My lawyer was Fred Reamer, which is a great name for a lawyer. I always say, Before that, I had a lawyer named Mr. Turtle. That didn't work, but Mr. Reamer really worked.
Reamer. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he was a great guy. He died,
No.
Oh yeah, many years ago. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I knew he
Just
ran for office.
had a heart attack and died. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, where was I? Oh, so
Steele.
So there was this constant back and forth with Steele and her lawyers calling the studio and the office and talking to the general manager and so on. Now, you want me to tell you a story you don't know? I had a guy who worked for me as a bodyguard.
Right.
Mainly because on a couple of occasions when I was out at things, there were problems. Also, when we did a show like one of our comedy shows, usually we got paid in cash and we had to get it to the bank. And this guy, my bodyguard, took the money and went to the bank, and he had a gun in case somebody tried to hold him up. Okay?
Right.
So anyway, he was also Danielle Steele's bodyguard.
Oh, nice.
And the thing that he had that was terrific, okay, this is the best part of the story, was that he had her credit card.
Nice.
And he could use the credit card if he needed to take care of stuff and whatever. So he said, I know you're having trouble with Danielle Steele. Let me take you out to dinner tonight. On Danielle.
Jesus.
And we're sitting there having a meal. Hey, another bottle of wine, please. Yeah. In the middle of all of that. And also, he was my inside person to know what was happening with Danielle and her daughter during this whole thing.
Right.
Because she said to her daughter, this was according to my friend the bodyguard, because he was there. The daughter she said to the daughter, he says that I'm a child pornographer, that I have 14-year-olds having sex with people in older people in my book, and the daughter looked at her and went, "You do." Mom,
Yeah.
you do, because the daughter was a fan of the show,
Yeah.
and hated what her mother was doing to us.
Well, we figured when we got there, we had 10 minutes before the cops were coming.
Yeah.
So we had to do our thing.
But you weren't doing anything obscene. You were only pretending to fuck a blow up doll
On a bench. Well, yeah. It in theory it looked really, really good. And visually it looked really, really good because people started driving by and honking. But then we found out that there was 35 cop cars on their way to Steele's house. Because he decided,
because it was Danielle Steele.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're like, okay, we got to get out of here. So we throw the doll and Reamer and everybody else in the car, and we didn't know which way to go. We knew the cops were coming one way. They obviously knew what my car looked like. So we went the other way, and the cops missed us entirely.
Wow.
So we got away with the whole thing. Now the problem is,
well, luckily we had a lawyer with you, so that in case anything happened, he would intervene, and then of course afterwards he would send me the bill. But
well, somebody's got to pay.
Well, I had screw you money in those days anyway.
Yeah, it everything worked well, and then we got in trouble enough times where the cops were definitely involved at the station. Hey, we need to speak to you, kind of a thing. Did you do this? And I play I don't really know. It's theater of the mind. I don't know. And sometimes we go out and people go, well, you're not really going to do that, are you? And I go, I'm not an actor. I don't know how to do this. Yeah, I'm going to run naked down the street. I mean, people are naked all the time. But anyway, 2 years later, I'm watching Larry King. And Danielle Steele's on. And he's like, you've lived a long life, Danielle. What's some of the trouble you've had? The next thing you know, I hear about a guy having sex in a park across the street from our house, and a guy on the radio doing a play-by-play, on Larry King, and I'm just like, oh my God, he hasn't gotten over this yet. It's not good. Danielle still hates us.
Yeah.
And then
I never heard the story of her doing it on Larry King.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she clearly, I got many calls going, hey, I'm pretty sure Danielle was talking about you on TV. And I go, somebody having sex in front of her house? Yeah, well, that was me, all right.
Yeah.
But we survived.
Yeah, and that's a good example of how he was our stunt guy. You know? I mean, you were up for almost anything.
Yeah, I didn't really... I think I have a line somewhere, but, you were around me enough to know that my line in the sand is a little fuzzy. I will. Well, hey, it's the anniversary, dude. The anniversary of us getting naked on the Golden Gate Bridge for Easter.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, no, we.
I don't look that whole period.
I played Jesus born prematurely because we didn't work on the weekend, so it was Good Friday. So I was out there covered in ketchup, walking up and down the bridge.
Was that supposed to represent the blood of Jesus?
Yeah, exactly.
God,
and you know what happens when you do stuff like that on the bridge? You get a long conversation with the psychiatrist.
Oh, really?
Oh, they have the bridge psychiatrist. He has an office. The cops come out and get you and take you to talk to the psychiatrist.
Well, listen, we're starting to run out of time. We're going to run out of time in about a minute and a half here. So what I want to do is we'll just do another one of these immediately after we do this one, because I get so much stuff to cover. So anyway, and then I'll run that next week. Okay. But anyway, so, Chuck was an embarrassment to us. But the kind of embarrassment that my show enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody who knows me at one point or another, is embarrassed by whatever they brought into a dinner.
Well, I always, as I said earlier, I always felt I had a certain sense of dignity You know, like my show has a purpose, you know. And then finally it devolves into this, and I go, oh, what the hell? It works. Have fun with it, you know.
It certainly worked well.
Yeah. He was our stunt guy. Anyway, let's stop here, and we'll start up and do another one, and talk to you again for the audience next week. Okay?
All right, sir.
Thank you very much, Chuck.
Thank you, buddy.
Chuck Farnham, ladies and gentlemen.
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yes. Okay. How about that, folks? For those of you who are old fans of my San Francisco show, just doing a few things here. Of my San Francisco show, you probably remember Chuck Farnham, right? Right. You remember Chuck Farnham. So we'll have another interview with him next week, next Wednesday. So join us for that. We did about, 3 of them total, I think. So that'll be on for the next 2 weeks. Okay. And then we may bring him back some more. But anyway, it's great to talk to him after all these years. And on the next episode, I think maybe we talk about why we haven't talked to each other for about 25 years. But we'll get into that. We don't have a lot of people waiting on here tonight, but I'll do it anyway. Let's see here. Let's go to, there's Jeff, and there's Charlie Wallace. Okay, all right. Okay, well that's our group for tonight. How are y'all?
Doing pretty good.
Let's see here. Wait a minute. I'm in it just for the cash.
IT.
Oh, Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
Information technology.
Yeah.
I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm just in it for the cash.
Just in it for the cash. I love it. Jeff's got an audio up there somewhere. Yeah. How are y'all? Jeff, just kill your browser. Just turn off your browser. Get rid of it. Just get rid of the browser. Oh, there, I think you got it. No? No, you didn't get it. Wait a minute. Did you get it? Okay. There we go. Okay. Hey, everybody. How are you?
Doing good. I got to get rid of this background.
Yeah. Why?
So they had a shrink on the bridge just for people to go out and do stupid stuff.
They had a what?
What?
I thought Chuck said that there was a shrink on the bridge.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know they had a shrink. Probably to talk people out of jumping.
Yeah.
Did you know that you were in with the police and so on?
Yeah.
No, you didn't know it?
No, I didn't know that they had that on the bridge.
Yeah. They hated me. That bridge.
I'll bet.
That bridge people
hated you.
Well, because they kept trying to keep me from knowing when the next person was, when the 2000th person was going to jump.
Oh God.
And every day that somebody jumped, I said, another one jumped last night, and they couldn't figure out how I knew. But what was happening, I had people from the Coast Guard calling me, telling me they were all on my side, right?
That's funny.
So they did that, and finally when the 2000th happened, I announced it, and the bridge people said, no, absolutely, the 2000th hadn't jumped, and then they finally had to admit that he had, and I was spot on.
Yeah, right on.
But he didn't win the blender.
He didn't win the blender.
No, he didn't win the blender. Well, his family didn't win the blender. I said that I would give a blender to whoever was the 2000th, but then I decided because he drove to the middle of the bridge and then got out and jumped and caused traffic to be impeded by that, I considered him an inconsiderate son of a bitch and who deserved to die, and I didn't give him the blender.
You should have gave him a waffle iron so the family could, because when he hit the water, he probably flattened out.
Yeah, I would say he did. Absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, that was the story. There are more little stories we tell on future episodes. Do you remember him? No, you don't even remember me on the air.
I don't. The only I saw you and another guy holding each other's shirts and stuff on the side of buses and billboards and crap.
No,
and
no,
other than that, I probably didn't listen to your show much.
That wasn't a billboard.
What was it? There were signs on the side of buses.
There were signs of me, but the two of us grabbing each other was the cover of the Sunday Chronicle magazine, Image magazine.
That was 40 years ago. You expect me to remember that?
Well,
Shit.
I do.
Oh, that's good. You got a better memory than Phil.
Yeah.
I mean, than I do.
Well, Phil, do you remember any of this?
Yeah, I was having trouble getting on there for a second. You mean I don't remember the Antics or Chuck Farnham, but
no, we're talking about.
So you never paid attention to my. You know what you didn't? You never paid attention to my show once I went to Live 105.
No, I didn't.
You see? Okay. Yeah. So
Terry McGovern, wasn't he the one that you were face to face with?
Yeah.
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 So I remembered something.
The title of it was Radio Wars. The cover. Yeah.
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 One radio station versus another.
Yeah. I'd bring it up right now, but it would take me forever to do it, and I don't want to waste the time to do it. So there we go. You know. So how are all of you doing?
Good.
Yeah. Good to see you all. Good to have all of you here.
Just feeling old.
Just feeling old? What's making you feel old today?
My son had his 35th birthday today.
Oh boy, that makes you feel that. You see, and I wouldn't know that. That's why I didn't have any kids, because then I couldn't feel old.
Charlie, I thought you were 29.
Only in my mind. Only in your mind.
Maybe in Phil's mind too.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I got a nice gift from Tony.
Oh.
A comic book?
A Trump pen.
Oh, I thought it was.
Is that one of the ones where you pull the head up and it plays for you?
Listen to this.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.
And you think that pen is a positive pen for Trump?
Yeah. Yeah, wait a minute.
Look, I'm rich.
What?
Yeah, what?
I'm rich.
Says, look, I'm really rich.
Yeah,
I will
amazing.
build a great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall.
Believe me, that is not a nice pen.
Well, it's better than a Chatty Cathy, you know.
No, Chatty Cathy doesn't lie.
And you don't tap the head on a Chatty Cathy. You got to pull the string.
What do you think of the pen, Tony? Since you sent it.
I figure it's the perfect gift.
Yeah, but do you think it's meant as a joke? Or
No.
do you think
I don't know. He gave a diabetic a chocolate bunny.
Oh, yeah, I gave him a candy, really, actually. If he didn't want it, I was going to say pass it to Alan. But he gave it to Faye, but little did they know I laced it with something, so please don't let Faye eat it, Phil. I'm joking. I had so much candy in his house. I said, Phil, you know what it was, Alex? I'm not going to pay $9 to ship a pen out.
Who sent him coffee? Who sent him coffee?
Actually, I had a cup downstairs.
Not you?
Okay. I got to get my cup anyway.
No,
Go get it.
I made Folgers, Alex. I went to your favorite store, Costco. I'll be right.
Oh boy, jeez almighty.
Not me. I didn't do it. It's not my fault.
That's coffee, right?
I would say
either that or our boy is now doing cocaine. One or the other.
I think that he tainted the chocolate with meth, in which case Phil would be used to that because he's a meth user.
He's a sorry meth.
Sorry meth. Yeah, there you go. Sorry meth.
Yeah,
sorry meth.
Yeah. Boy, I'm coughing tonight. We have pollen. The pollen count today out of 12 is the top, right?
Something
and
like
it was
that.
11.9 today.
Yeah. Stay indoors. Close the windows.
Mm-hmm. However, my wife on a warm day likes to open the windows.
Oops.
Whoops.
Go for a walk.
Out here lately.
Huh?
It's been warm out here lately.
Yeah,
And the pollen's been flowing in the Bay Area too.
we had 45 degrees today. Yeah. I had to put some makeup on the top of my head. I don't know if you can see it here, but I was shaving the top of my head, and I got nicked by the razor.
Ouch.
You don't really get nicked by razors anymore.
Not when they have 5 blades.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Well, I got nicked. And so I get this.
How about using, if you do your head every day, you can use an electric razor, can't you?
What?
If you did it, I have a friend of mine that shaves his head, and he went to an electric razor, and he just does it every day. He just goes over his head, and
Well, you
no-
see,
no
I
irritation.
shave in the shower,
Oh, okay.
and if I can't use an electric razor.
Well, well, I have a battery powered.
They
One's
make
an
an electric razor in the Relco that you can use in a shower.
Mine is one of those. I was just starting to say that, but usual Phil. cut
Well, I'd
me off.
rather interrupt you, Alan.
It's okay, Phil.
This way you
Working
feel
good.
loved.
Nobody listens to you anyhow, so it's okay.
Yeah. So anyway, let me see here. Was there anything in the news?
Yeah, those two legislatures down in Tennessee are both reinstated.
The legislators. Yeah, they're both
The
reinstated.
Republicans
were
didn't want
Out by the Republican majority.
What they did is the Republican majority stayed away, and so the Democrats then reinstated them while they were away.
They had 62 votes and no negative. There were 62 yes
Right.
and
Right.
no negative. So I don't know what the amount of Republicans.
Well, it's just another case of the Republicans trying to ruin democracy, So
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, these two legislators, both of them, their first names were Justin, which I think is kind of interesting.
Oh, really?
And
both
they were
Justin?
reinstated temporarily. They were reinstated temporarily by the city council in the district from which they had been elected. They both will now have to stand for a special election in order to win a full term again.
You don't think they're going to win? I wouldn't.
Oh, I think they will.
Oh,
I think they will.
absolutely.
But
absolutely.
But they're back in the legislature right now after being out for what, one week?
Yeah. Well, they couldn't have picked. They yelled at them for using a megaphone.
Yeah.
Not
an appropriate place to use it.
Well, the point was they were protesting the use of firearms being so plentiful and so on in their state, which has caused no amount of grief.
That's right.
And that was an acceptable thing to protest against.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was not unacceptable. So
kind of like January 6th.
What?
It's kind of like January 6th.
What do you mean?
Nobody pooped in the hallways.
Somebody shit where?
Yeah.
Nobody broke any windows or doors.
Yeah, most of those were broken by the Secret Service agents.
Nobody's.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sent any cops to the hospital.
Yeah.
You really believe that, Phil?
No, I found out they shot one of the protesters and killed her, but she was going through a window.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I mean, she they probably didn't mean to kill her, but
they were shooting to wound. They were trying for the leg.
They were shooting to scare, is what they were doing. Yeah, no. I mean, come on, these are Capitol Police. They're not your normal police.
No,
these are the guys that basically say the bathroom is over there. That's the biggest part of their job.
Right.
You mean like rent-a-cops?
Rent a cops like Phil was.
Yeah, it's like what you used to do for the police.
Oh yeah,
rent a cop.
What'd you say?
I beg to differ.
He's riding in the car, right? Oh no.
One's protecting Nancy Pelosi and those guys. They're trained just like the Secret Service.
Oh yeah, they're real cops. They're trained. I agree with you, Bert.
Yeah.
I mean, they smashed down several doors to get there, and then they smashed down that door to get in.
They didn't open fire on these people.
Are they trying to throw Dianne Feinstein off the Judiciary Committee?
Didn't she just ask today something came up and she asked to be removed temporarily from it.
Well, it's because
having health issues.
No, but it's shingles.
That's dangerous at her age.
Well, it's dangerous at any age. I
You can
mean,
get the shingles shot. My mother never got that.
According to CNN a few months ago, Feinstein asked to be temporarily replaced on the judiciary amid some party pressure to resign from the Senate.
I wonder
They
why.
can't confirm
Jewish
any
name.
judges until she's gone or until she can be there.
Yeah.
what were you going to say, Phil?
He is recovering from shingles.
Wait a minute. Let's hear Phil. We can laugh. Go ahead.
Why?
I don't know. Whatever he
I
says.
said, I wonder why she wanted to be removed from the Judiciary Committee. She has a Jewish last name. You know.
That's not bad, is it? She is Jewish, right?
Oh,
Is she?
her husband was
Please
Jewish.
don't encourage him. Hello, Brian. You thought the coast was clear tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, a little happy here. Chuck Farnham did a couple things right after the interview. Come hopping up here and
Yeah, see what you get.
but don't you have to beat up on those old men photography thingies tonight?
Next week.
Oh, okay.
That's good because we got Chuck Farnham on again next week. So.
Yeah,
And the week after that.
I'm glad.
And who knows? We may have him for the week after that if I call him again. You know.
Yeah. So I think Vern might have. Did Vern see that? Did you see all the ham radios that the guy had in the background?
I haven't watched that segment.
Oh yeah,
yet.
you can watch it. He has a wall of ham radios.
Oh
You'd
yeah,
love it.
Chuck
Oh,
was
really?
into ham radio. Yeah.
I'll definitely have to watch it then.
Yeah. Well, you can see it, you know.
Antique.
And he had this antique TV, which I thought was very cool.
I didn't see it.
Huh? Oh.
Didn't notice any of that.
But we had to
Yeah.
we changed the background after the second interview.
Oh.
The reason being that he was using the Zoom equivalent of chroma key, right? Which isn't all that good, you know, because it kind of, you know, you lose
Fades in
stuff.
and out.
Yeah, it doesn't key well. So that was that. Let's see here. What's his name? Trump. What's his name?
Yeah.
Trump is.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.
God doesn't create presidents, by the way. You know.
I thought you would enjoy that.
Created this pen.
Yeah, thanks for sending it to him.
Yeah,
The
thanks,
gift that
Tony.
keeps given.
And thanks to
Thanks a lot.
Costco for supplying you with coffee. Thank you very much.
$9, a whole big jug.
What?
$10, I got Folgers. I got like a big thing like that.
Oh, really?
Folgers.
Oh.
I
Boy,
mean,
you're
why-
always-
I send you the good stuff, and you go back to drinking.
Well, I finished it. Yours was good. I have to say. Was that
wait a
not
minute, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Does anybody drink Folgers coffee
Coffee
anymore?
crystals? That's not coffee.
It's
I-
mountain grown.
Are you?
What is that?
No,
he
no.
I
gets
got
the type
breakfast
that-
blend.
He gets the type that you brew, Phil. Have you heard of that?
I thought Folgers were crystals. that were
No.
instant.
Folgers.
Like my
for-
mother used to drink Sanka.
No, that was. Well,
That's deep.
do you want to? I mean, what is it? Is it Sanka? In Greece, the number one coffee is Sanka. If I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't cause birth defects. I thought Phil's mother had one when
No.
when she was pregnant.
They didn't
with
have
him.
Sanka.
Was
in
it
54.
Sanka or was it? Wait a minute. Nescafe. Nescafe. That's what
That
it
is
is.
decaf. Or?
Yeah,
That's the
Nescafe.
instant,
You go into a place and you ask for coffee or whatever, and they give you Nescafe unless you actually ask for Greek coffee, in which they hand you a cup of the coffee with the grounds at the bottom of it. Yeah.
This is what, by the way, this is what Tony's drinking. Coffee with the grounds at the bottom of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he
Fresh
doesn't.
brewed.
He doesn't know how to make it with any
He's
other
got
way.
that look on his face where he's looking it up on the computer, what that means.
I'm not looking at ham radios and
Not you,
Well,
Phil.
you're one person, right?
Who's that?
You're one person living in that house.
Well, my brother, but he don't really drink coffee. He's more tea.
Well, why don't you get yourself a pod machine?
My brother bought me the pod, Alex, and I used to tell this to him all the time. I like it, but the coffee gets cold fast. If I'm watching the Knicks game and I go inside of the Yankee game, it's already cold.
It comes
Get
out.
a coffee warmer. They you plug them into the wall.
Like I sit down and by the inning, it's like, oh shit, it's cold. I gotta
It
nuke
gets
it now. I
cold.
get a little
Do
bit.
what I do. I don't finish a whole cup of coffee every night, so I put it in the refrigerator and I warm it up the next day in the microwave.
Well, I sometimes make iced coffee with my leftover coffee. That's what I do.
Alex, Tony has these pods under his bed, and
Yeah, right.
did a
When he
movie
falls
about
asleep.
it.
Right.
What was it, the Pod People?
You know, Tony sends you all this nice stuff. Have you ever sent him anything? No.
Yeah, I did actually.
What?
He said, "Oh, you got to see what he sent me, a sales book, Alan. Alex, if you would have read this thing, it's
A
dry.
sales book.
Yes, the guy said, Alex,
Help
in the
him
book,
with his
never run
business.
anything off discount, and I went against the grain and did a 10% sale, and I had my most sales. I said, the guy's wrong. I said, how can you not run a sale? Doesn't everybody run sales?
No,
He says some carpet samples to Tony.
That's
not
right.
yet.
Not yet. I can-
Well, he figures if he sends him enough of them, he can carpet his floor.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I would.
Oh, Charlie needs to correct something, and I wasn't even on the first half hour.
Tony said that he had to. He didn't like pod coffee because it cools off too fast. I hate to tell you, but the laws of physics don't allow pod coffee to cool off any faster than any other kind of coffee.
Is that true?
You've
that's
been
true.
told.
Hey, this guy is an
I'm not
astrophysicist,
gonna get-
okay? It's not like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Charlie, even the one on the stove, though, I always thought the coffee on the stove always would stay hotter.
Although an
you leave it on.
astrophysicist might know what a cup of coffee temperature is near Pluto, also, right?
Hey, Tony, if you leave the stove on and you leave the coffee on the stove,
There
it'll
goes
stay
the
hot.
pot. And there goes the pot. I have to be calling Bezos for another pot at the end of the week. Black is the ace of spade. I got to get a new one. Throw it out.
Usually, if you use most coffee makers, you know, you make the coffee and then it's brewed and then that's it, you know.
Well, my mom used
Pour
to
it
make
in the
me
cup,
those
and that's when it starts cooling off.
And that's why the what do you call it, the Keurig is such a good idea, is because
It is.
especially like you only want to make one cup. It makes a perfect one cup, whereas
One cup at
with
a
the
time.
way you're doing it, you have to make many cups, so you're gonna have really cold coffee.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it's
Keurig-
only decide to measure
My
it.
Keurig at the store just started to give it up today.
Really?
So, does anybody have a suggestion for like a better Keurig? Or
Okay.
Yeah,
the current-
Cuisinart.
The current
I have a Cuisinart that's
forget it.
6 years old.
I've done a lot of reading on this.
Uh-huh.
The current Keurig that I have is the best.
Which one's that?
Well, it's kind of, I'd say it was the newest one, but I've had it about 6-8 months. They just refined it and changed a lot of the way in which it works, and for instance, when you turn it on, it immediately starts brewing the coffee. It doesn't have to wait to warm up. Okay, and then that's part of it. And the other part of it is that it just seems to, it has more punctures in the top to more evenly distribute the coffee in the pod. They just improved completely on their model, as it were, and it's very good. It's very good. Yeah.
I can brew a cup of coffee.
And they're
Phil,
cheap. They're cheap. You go to
Phil,
Costco,
I
they're
can
about
turn on my
$99.
coffee maker and in 30 seconds have a cup of coffee. So
You got to wait 30 seconds?
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
30
Can't
seconds.
wait that long.
well, I don't leave it on all the time. It's a Cuisinart. The thing works good.
Yeah.
Alex's might be better, so maybe you ought to buy his. Mine's
Hey,
6
listen,
years
I'm really
old.
happy with it, you know. And
You know, send Phil one and and charge him
send
extra
Phil
charge.
one. Why should I send Phil a coffee maker?
Oh, I don't know.
Alan will do it. Just tell him what model you got.
Are you crazy?
No,
I'm not
crazy.
going to
That
send one to Tony. That's for goddamn sure.
I'm not sending one to either
Oh,
one
you
of
said-
them.
You know.
You know, they actually make cup your Keurigs that make one cup at a time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I said. It's better
I
for
know.
somebody like Tony or me or even Marjorie and I. She has some coffee in the morning, and then when I get up, I make myself some. But we usually don't make more than a cup at a time. Whereas if we made like a carafe worth or whatever, you know, you're never going to use all that up, and the coffee gets wasted.
Like I said, I'll save it for some iced coffee. My mother used to make me make the coffee on the stove. She never
But
wanted
if
the
you put a
cake.
little liquor in the coffee, you'll get
Should have knocked
wasted.
her out with the liquor. You're right.
Use a French press.
Hmm?
A French press where you put the grounds in and the hot water.
Still,
and
it's making too much coffee.
I mean, I do waste
The
coffee.
thing that's good about the Keurig is it does. Even if you have the massive one, it just makes 1 cup at a time. You don't have cold coffee sitting around getting cold.
Yeah.
You know, and you're going
The
to
whole cold thing.
what?
The whole cold thing depends on the cup you pour it in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got a Yeti,
I have a Starbucks one that's a double insulated thing, and that thing stays hot forever.
I've got those Yeti ones.
When you make it, do you make it with a Keurig?
No, I have a coffee pot thingy bob.
Yeah, but
No,
then
I make like 3 days worth when I drive to Lodi. So I pour it in after that, then I use it, pour it in the big cup, and I'm good for that day. Then I have another cup for the next day already made.
yeah.
So
You got a
I have a
whole.
Mr. Coffee
In your
drip coffee
McLaren,
maker.
there's a coffee cup holder.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is
Use
the
that.
only show you're going to get on YouTube right now. Okay, that is talking about how to make coffee.
Coffee tip.
Monetize
It's
you.
important. When I was working,
And
before
watch
I
it.
retired-
They will demonetize me.
That's right.
Let me tell you about this. Ready for my latest demonetization story? They demonetized 2 shows of mine recently, one right after the other. Show number 1 was the Monday show.
Wow.
Charlie, you're on there. What's to demonetize on that show?
I don't know. Maybe Mandy was too sexy.
And number 2 was the show that Marjorie and I did. That was 8 minutes long out at the
Oh, the
park.
one at the park?
And we
That
didn't,
had kissing.
we didn't say
Yeah.
yes. We kissed. That was it.
Really?
So I protested it, and of course they then reversed it. But why did those things get demonetized? What was there in those shows that could have possibly caused it? You
You
know,
must be on the
It's-
radio.
Can I-
wasn't
can I-
in them, so you know what? That would be a cause.
we talked
Can
a
I
little.
give you
This is a,
What?
this is a good segue into the NPR pulling off of Twitter because
Yeah. Do you know?
Twitter
Did you
put
notice? Did you notice that Brian was talking?
no,
Oh.
No, he
Alex, just to give you a good tip, is today's Mandy's birthday, so you better say happy birthday to
Oh,
her.
happy birthday to Mandy! Oh,
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait a minute.
Bring her on.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, we're not going to bring her on. I don't want to have to expose her to you human beings. Wait a minute. Oh, let me see.
he already
here.
wants to punch me.
He gets up to go to work every
Could you blame
morning.
her?
Okay, let's see here. Mandy. Let's see. Mandy Mills O'Brien. There she is. Okay. Happy birthday, Mandy. Wish a happy birthday, Mandy. A happy birthday. Yeah. What? Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
From the
I thought
night
it was
crew.
on May 12th.
Birthday.
No, it's April.
Wait a minute.
12th.
Hold on a second. I always do this. You old bag.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes,
Huh?
yes.
Yes.
Please put it. Please put it.
Oh, stop
wouldn't do
it.
that.
You're encouraging me now.
She might not understand the humor.
Yeah,
No, she will. She will. She will.
Just want to appreciate it.
I wonder how old she is.
She's about 57, is it?
Supposedly,
like
Has
that.
the
but I
same
don't
last
think-
name as Marjorie.
A great looking 57-year-old, by the way. You know.
So it's an exercise class.
And then I
that she
said,
does.
we all love you. Okay.
You say her last name is the same as Marjorie's last name?
Hmm?
No.
Same
Oh,
as
it's
my first
O'Brien.
name.
Oh,
O'Brien.
I thought it was Mills O'Brien.
No.
It is Mills
No,
O'Brien.
Miller is Marjorie's name.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Marjorie Miller.
Phil's having trouble remembering again.
Yeah, Phil's he has trouble with everything.
Ah, you did put it. Awesome. Awesome. Good. Thanks.
Did you see it there? Okay.
Yeah, I
Oh,
see
yeah.
that.
She'll take it as a joke. She has a
Yeah.
sense of humor, you know. But that did it. Okay. All right. So happy if you're watching it all, you watch this show, and I doubt it, Mandy. Happy birthday from.
No, she knows Tuesday Phil's on, so she won't watch.
From people who call on Monday.
She's got her boxing gloves on right now, waiting for Phil to knock on the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I was trying to make a segue into the NPR Twitter issue where you were talking about getting demonetized, and I said that NPR is pulling off of Twitter because I guess.
But we're not on Twitter.
Huh?
We're not on Twitter.
Yeah, they were, and their account was listed as a government. Like a government shill.
You're not hearing what Alex is saying, Phil.
He said they're not on Twitter.
They're not on Twitter.
They were.
No, I'm saying we're not even talking about Twitter, Phil.
No, we were talking about being demonetized
on YouTube.
Right, and I was saying that's a good segue to go over to this topic, but.
I didn't hear anything about NPR, or is it NPR?
Yes, and NPR's account was listed as a government information account. It was a negative thing that they were listed as, and
it's not a government account. They
approached Twitter and said this is not the right thing, and they listed it as government paid account, and so they said that they're pulling off of Twitter.
Yeah, well, I would pull off. I have a Twitter account, but I never use it.
Yeah, I dropped my Twitter account when they dropped.
I think that some of my stuff may go out over Twitter because I think once I said, if I do something on Facebook, throw it over on Twitter as well at the same time.
Oh.
But
I deleted my Twitter account. I deleted my Twitter account when Elon Musk bought them.
Oh, I deleted it when they threw Trump off. So.
I didn't. Well, I don't hate Musk as much as you do.
I do.
Oh, okay. Well, then, there are too many people for me to be pissed at. I gotta limit them to the really good ones.
I think they ought to strap Trump into one of the new rockets for SpaceX. Test it out. If it's a success, he goes up in space. If not, oh well.
No, William Shatner went up. Why not Trump?
That's right. With all Trump's money, he should be able to afford to get SpaceX to build him his own spacecraft.
Yeah. Now, here's a story of the day, actually, is that Trump is suing Michael Cohen for $500 million.
For what?
Breach of...
I think because he just sues people to keep them busy, I don't think he has much of a case here.
Some sort of fiduciary breach, or...
Well, he says that he signed confidentiality agreements and things like that. But the point is,
can that be upheld when you're under oath and subpoena?
No, it can't be. So I mean, it's just Trump trying to keep Cohen busy. And I'm sure Cohen's having a good day laughing at it because I mean, let's be honest, $500 million from Cohen, from Michael Cohen. How much money do you figure Michael Cohen has?
72 cents.
Probably.
Yeah,
but his father-in-law is very wealthy.
Doesn't matter. He can't be sued.
I know, but that's how he's.
But he can sue him for whatever he wants to. He could win, and he's never going to see it. So what's he doing it for? If you wanted to do it, truthfully, do it for a reasonable amount that it looks like Michael Cohen could pay, could afford to pay.
It's like that Gwyneth Paltrow thing where she countersued for $1.
Yeah, because
and her legal expenses.
And they want her legal expenses. Yeah.
That was the I wouldn't take ski lessons from her though.
No, not a good idea. Well, no, I wouldn't take a ski lessons from the guy who hit her. Okay.
Well, that guy's an old fart. He's like 75.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Wait a minute. That was an age joke, wasn't it?
Yeah, he put his foot in it.
It was an age joke.
It was an age joke.
If they're listening, don't demonetize them for that.
That age joke?
Yeah, did you see where Alvin Bragg is suing Jim Jordan, telling him to keep his nose out of local business?
And
Yeah.
he easily win that one because the government has no business in interfering in states' business,
Federal government,
government. And you know what is fun? What's funny is the Republicans are the first one to tell you, oh, there's states' rights. We should not impinge on states' rights. And then a guy like Jordan tries to say, we're subpoenaing, Bragg.
And that judge in Western Texas is trying to get rid of the FDA approval of that one drug nationwide.
Yeah, but that's a different case altogether.
Well, states' rights.
No, I don't know if it is states' rights. I think you should not be able to tell a state what to do. Okay, at least you ask any Republican, states' rights is supposedly one of the things they always quote.
On this new thing on abortion, the overturn of Roe versus Wade. It's now gone back to the states, and it's up to the state to decide.
Yeah, but what's happening is because of what this judge did, who's a federal judge, I believe, is that he negated the whole thing with the FDA approving the morning after pill. And so that means that all states, after a certain date, cannot sell that pill.
Saturday.
So you talk about interfering in states' rights? That's exactly what he's doing.
And that's why the states that still do abortions are stockpiling the drug.
Yeah, New York is stockpiling it.
So is California.
Illinois and California.
And going to make it available to anybody who needs it.
Yep.
That Seinfeld episode where Elaine was deciding whether
those
someone
were
was
sponges.
sponge-worthy.
Those were sponges, yeah.
Yeah, but she was stockpiling the sponges.
They stopped making the sponge at a certain point because they found that it could cause problems,
Yeah.
I never watched
But
Seinfeld.
the thing is that it was it's terrible what happened with that judge in Texas, and he should not be able to affect the entire country. And I'm sure most states are going to refuse to, a lot of states are going to refuse to go along with it and just say.
The Justice Department has asked for a TRO to negate his ruling.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, these people who are judges who think they can then impose their morality on people rather than just do what they got to do, and that's rule on cases.
Isn't it interesting how activist judges are always Democrats, according to Republicans?
Really? Isn't this an activist judge?
This guy is, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Isn't he a Trump appointee?
Yeah.
Yes.
There are those people that honestly believe now that the Republicans are in a lot of trouble, that they have so alienated a large portion of this country between their stances on abortion and going along with the ban of Roe v. Wade and a lot of the stuff, a lot of little antics they've been doing that they consider to be flying in the face of democracy, that the Republicans are going to have a pretty hard time of it in the next couple of years. That they've painted themselves into a very bad corner that, quite frankly, they can't get themselves out of. And you got assholes like Jim Jordan and so on leading the march on all this stuff. And
Marjorie Trash Can Green.
Yeah, of course, Marjorie Green, who, by the way, owes $250 to the city of New York for violating a noise ordinance.
Right, with a bullhorn that she didn't have her permit.
Well,
for.
she didn't have permission because it was she was doing something political, but if you do that, you still have to get like a permit.
Yeah, that's what New York
to do
says.
that sort of thing. So they fined her $250, which she says she's not going to pay.
Yeah,
well, that's abiding the law, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well, she's a Republican. They're above the law.
Huh?
She's a Republican. They're above the law.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, it's just amazing to me that these people who have over and over again talked about states' rights and they talk about the Constitution and are violating all of it.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. So what else is new? What else is new?
We found out the shooter in our mass shooting that we had here.
Oh yeah, you had a mass shooting down there, didn't you?
He bought an AR-15 on April the 4th.
Really?
This is
Yeah.
Illegally bought
Oh,
it
this was the
on
one in the
April
bank.
4th.
This was the one in the bank.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Louisville, right?
Yes, and the reason that police officer was shot was because the windows were tinted a certain way so that they could not see into the bank lobby. And so this guy was waiting for the cops after he had shot the bank employees. He was waiting for the cops to come to the bank so that he could ambush them.
What's interesting about this guy is his parents have been apologizing profusely to the public for what he did. And in their apologies said, we had no idea he had any guns. We didn't think he had any. And they were right in that assumption because he had only bought it a few days earlier.
Yep.
Without any background checks. What?
He worked at that bank?
I think he at one time worked at the bank.
No, he was an employee of the bank at the time of the shooting.
Yes.
He had worked for them for over a year, and he interned there 3 times before he became a permanent employee, and he had a master's in finance.
What was his problem? I thought he was 22 years old.
He was Republican.
He was 25.
No, he had his mom said he suffered from depression, but she didn't think that he would do anything. And she called the police after he left the house, and they warned him, said that I think he's going to the bank right now. And
she know he had a gun?
Yeah, she said she didn't think that he had guns, but yeah,
she was worried that he was going to do something. Yeah.
Did they let him go? I thought that he got fired. Did they let him go?
No.
He's dead.
No. That was a rumor.
Dead now, yeah.
That's a form of letting you go.
Yes, I guess so.
He had a future in floor covering sales.
That police officer who was shot in the head.
Yeah.
What was the motivation?
This was only his 4th tour. He was on his 4th tour when this happened.
He was a rookie.
He was a rookie. He had just graduated from the academy and was sworn in the week before.
Do you know what? You know what's happening now that I notice in the news, and they're showing it a lot using the body cams and so on, is they try and show now how brave these cops really are. Because after the thing in Uvalde, in which everybody cowered in the hallway, most of these people now go, well, we're not going to get caught that way. Okay.
Well, the guy that took him down was his training officer. The one who got shot in the head, it was his training officer. He was with his training officer when they came to the bank, and he was shot, and the training officer took out the shooter.
Wow.
With another AR-15.
He got shot in the head. Is he alive still, or did he pass away?
He's in serious but stable condition.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. You know what? I don't know how many of you've seen this, but the other night, Jeremy Renner was on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Oh.
3 months after he got run over by his snowplow.
He's amazing, isn't he?
No, it's just amazing how well he is. He walked onto the set using a cane, and at some point he wasn't even using the cane.
I saw him get interviewed. I think it was 60 Minutes.
Well, no, it wasn't 60 Minutes. It was
Diane
Sawyer.
Diane Sawyer, that's what it was. It was at ABC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was an excellent interview. I had no idea that Jeremy Renner was such a good guy.
Jeremy Renner?
Whatever.
Renner.
Yeah.
He you know, but it wasn't. What it was is that it's just amazing how well he has done in 3 months, and I think part of that had to do with the fact, and he said it, none of his vertebrae were broken. None of his organs were impacted except for his liver, which got
his lung.
Liver.
No, they said he had a collapsed lung.
He had a collapsed lung, but he didn't have. But they were able to get that going, and you can inflate that easily. But it was like a spiraling bone that fell off his leg, I think, and it went and hit his liver. And that's the only internal injury that he had. He didn't have any brain injuries. His eye fell out of its socket. They put that back in. They did a whole bunch of work putting his face back together.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. He said he could actually see the eye with his other eye.
He had his eye on.
Yeah.
My grandmother had a glass eye. She had a glass eye. She lost her eye from cancer. She had a glass eye.
Well, but isn't it amazing that after a month, 3 months, this guy is up and about? It's just, I think, incredible.
He has a tremendous will to heal and to fight.
Well, also, I think he was, oddly enough, very lucky.
Yeah.
He said he was very lucky. He said
14 tons, that machine.
But
what happened was it wasn't the wheels that ran over.
He didn't get the full weight of the 14 tons though, because he got the weight of the track.
Right.
And the track probably had a lot of give in it.
Yeah, but he was on cement or blacktop.
No, he wasn't.
He was on snow.
No, he was on snow.
No.
Yes, he was. Yes,
No.
absolutely.
Yeah,
it
was
a snowplow.
It was a snowplow.
It was a snowplow, but he was on his driveway, and when
he
it
wasn't
ran over him,
he wasn't even in his driveway, Phil.
He was on
He
the.
was trying to help somebody else.
I saw the video of what happened.
He was down the road. He was down the road from his home.
He was on roadbed. There was no. The snow was already gone.
What I saw was there was snow there. But anyway,
I heard the interview.
Be that as it may, he's just very lucky that he had everything going for him in that situation.
This cop is not going to be that lucky if he got shot in the head.
Well, a lot of times if you get shot in the head, it goes around the round doesn't necessarily penetrate into the brain. It just goes around the edge.
He got shot in the head with an AR, Phil.
Yeah, well, that's
ARs don't tend to skate around the skin, around the brain.
Depends on how it hit him,
Anything's possible.
And an AR is just a carbine, 22 caliber, basically.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
I just don't think
it's a weapon of war.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Jeff is talking. When Jeff talks, we listen because he very seldom talks.
Yeah, fun.
Go ahead.
I said I don't think any of you guys have enough experience in neurosurgery to make a good decision for this guy at this point.
Which guy? The guy that got shot? Or
Police
the guy
officer.
The guy who got shot.
Yeah, they'll ask me later.
What do you? God forbid, Phil.
Well, what's interesting, they interviewed the chief of medicine at the ER in the hospital where everybody was taken, and the guy said what was interesting or what was traumatic is that there was another shooting incident while this other one was going on in somewhere else in the city.
Jeez. Well, what happens is Marjorie comes to me and goes, "Oh, did you hear about the shooting today? Isn't it terrible? What the hell's going on?" And I say, I'll tell you what's going on. I said, the same thing that went on yesterday and the day before and the day before that. There's a shooting every day in this country, mass shooting in this country every day.
Well, there's a traffic accident every day too.
Phil, we're not talking about traffic accidents.
4 people
right
die
now.
in traffic accidents.
That
and
doesn't.
and 60% of those are suicides.
Automobiles are not designed to kill people.
And by the way,
Phil.
60% are not suicides, Phil.
Yeah.
Well, find me the statistic.
Okay, I know where it is.
Do you know where it is?
Gunviolence.com.
Huh?
Go to there's a site
I
that
think it's the CDC.
Last night. The CDC's full of shit. They can't even get COVID right. Go to gunviolencearchive.com.
Okay. Well, have you found let me see. Gun Violence Archive, huh?
Yeah, it won't let me log on to it with my VPN running. So, but you can get on it. I was on it last night. I turned the VPN off. The trouble is I'll lose the show.
Suicides. Okay, right here. Let me press the thing. It says suicides by gun accounted for 6 out of every 10 firearm deaths in 2010. Just over half of them.
Wait a minute. When?
Well, I went to his site. But it's the same statistic.
No,
now.
it can't be the same statistic. You probably saw that statistic too.
No,
and the fact is that 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, things weren't as bad as they are now.
This is the one that your buddy Alan Ween said to go to.
Yeah,
I said CDC, and that's accurate 2019 or 2020 information, and it's the same statistic. 6 out of 10 are suicides.
Yeah, but you probably don't have 6 out of 10 people using AR-15s to commit suicide.
No, gun deaths. And very few of these shootings are done with an AR-15.
Wait a minute, hold on a second.
Majority of mass
just hold
shootings
on a
today
second. Echo,
are
how
done
many
with
gun
AR-15
deaths are
type
from
weapons.
suicide every year?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, 25,000 every year.
25,000. Okay. Echo, what percentage of gun deaths is caused by suicide?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Let's know that one.
Reword it. The way it didn't make sense the way you asked Echo.
What am I supposed to ask?
I don't know. I don't ask Echo anything.
How does that make sense then?
But ask Echo how many.
Okay.
Ask Echo, Gecko, whatever. Ask if what percentage of suicides are done with guns or
No,
we don't. That's not that.
Echo, what percentage of gun deaths
Sorry,
is
I don't know that one.
Echo, what percentage of gun deaths is as a result of suicide?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Doesn't know that one. Okay.
I got a 2020 from the CDC. I haven't read it all the way, but let me say, I'll just give you the first paragraph. Firearm deaths continue to be a significant and growing public health problem. In 2020, 79% of all homicides and 53% of all suicides involve firearms. From
53,
2020.
That didn't say that. So it still doesn't say how many are suicides. Let me say something to you, Phil.
Said 53%.
Phil. If people commit suicide, wait a minute, hold on a second. Listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
If let's say 60% of people who commit suicide do so with a gun.
Correct.
If they weren't able to get a gun, would there be less suicides?
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Are you sure of that, Phil?
Yeah.
Why are you sure of that?
I think the availability of a firearm makes suicide easier.
Yeah, that's correct.
And you don't think taking a pill, the availability of cyanide would make it just as easy?
I don't
What
know where to
availability of
I don't know
cyanide?
where to get cyanide pills, Bill.
Where do you
Yeah,
where do you
Depot.
where do you go to
The
Home
five
Depot?
and yeah, Home Depot.
Wait a
Ask the
minute.
guy at the front.
Hold on a second. We have an expert here who works at is it Home Depot?
Yeah, Burn. It's on aisle
Okay.
6.
Do you sell cyanide there?
No.
No, but they sell other stuff, rat poison and shit like that.
You know something, Phil? All I'm saying is if the guns weren't available, you wouldn't have people committing suicide with a gun. Okay.
I'll go 5 feet away and I'll show you an AR-15.
Oh, I thought you were going to go 5 feet away, get a gun, and blow your brains out just to prove it to us.
You might get demonetized, but maybe not since it's Phil.
You know, if you show a gun,
Ratings would go off the roof, though.
hey, do you think that showing a gun would get you demonetized?
Showing a gun?
No, if you shot and killed yourself with a gun, he would definitely not.
That would be a problem, but that would be
just for you.
Film.
He wouldn't get demonetized because it was you.
No, it would be a snuff film.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Now look
I
up
think
this
that all
statistic,
your
though, Phil,
gun
and find out
stores
how many people
ought to
shoot themselves with an AR-15.
cyanide.
Yeah.
I don't think any.
I think it's pretty hard to do, isn't it? I
The
guess.
numbers would be low, Vern. The gun is 30 inches or 36
It's a weapon
inches.
of war. That's my whole point. It's the weapon of war. It has no business on the street.
You could barely hunt chipmunks with it.
Well, I got a
So
chipmunk.
why
I'd
do
like
you
to
need
get
it,
rid of.
Bill?
So why
Tell
are
us
people
why you
using
need it.
those particular guns to shoot deer?
They don't use that to shoot.
No, it's not powerful enough.
Then what did they use
a
it for?
30-06, 30
Kill people. That's what it was developed for.
Yep.
Was developed for a wartime weapon, wasn't it, Phil?
Well, maybe they used them in something similar in Vietnam, but full
Maybe
automatic.
it's very close. The guy that developed it, his name was Stoner. Something was his
Owner,
last.
yeah.
Yeah.
He did it with Armalite Corporation. That's what AR stands for.
Yeah. Okay, but who cares about all that stuff? We're talking about murders and stuff. So.
Another insane night, right, Brian?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Alexa a while ago said that 25,000 deaths a year from gun violence. We're already at 11,700, and we're in April.
We're number one.
I would say, Vern, probably the majority of people that use a gun, that have access to it, to use the gun to kill themselves, it was usually a pistol or a revolver.
Yeah.
It's a lot smaller. You can just put it in your head. It's not this big long gun. It's
Hey.
like it's trying to use a shotgun to kill yourself.
Hey, Alan, would you demonstrate?
Sure, come on over. I got a wide angle lens, Phil.
I can watch it here.
We can.
comfort of my own
I'll
chair.
let you pick one of 3 or 4 different ammo rounds, whichever one you want going through your brain first.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, wait a minute. There's a hollow cavity there.
What are you doing? What are you don't put a gun on this show.
This is a round from a this is a 223.
Now you just got demonetized.
No,
Yep, that'll do it.
This is a round from a AR-15.
Okay, well, put it in the gun, put it to your head, and let's see if it works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look who's
Hello,
there.
Adrian.
Look who's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like a cat. I told you she's like a cat. Turn the camera on. She'll eventually.
I love the little hand
she'll
thing
eventually.
on the side.
Yeah. Hi. How you doing, Adrian?
Good.
See?
Did you see the Brian video he put up the other day of Adrian? That was a great video.
I got to go look at it. What is it of, Brian?
Yeah, Brian.
Phil, what is it of?
It was of your daughter throwing a basketball, I think.
Oh yeah, we're playing basketball over the weekend.
Yeah, it had music. It was really, really well done.
Yeah, so she's got to get a scholarship somehow.
Don't worry, she's going to get a lot of them.
Yeah, send Alex that video. I thought it was excellent.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, let me see here. We're almost running out of time here.
Almost
Maria,
doesn't.
don't try to get on. I'm not going to answer your trying to get on.
Who?
Maria. It says Maria Norway. Yeah, like that's a real
Norway.
name. What? Yeah.
Sounds bogus to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Phil, how was did you see the Rube at the Hearth?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's that?
It was good.
We enjoyed it. Alan was there. Ray was there, and
Did you
never
bug him
seen
about
him.
calling the show? Did you tell him to call Alex?
yeah, I did.
Good.
yeah.
Bill actually took a picture of him on stage like 6 years ago, blew it up and gave it to him ahead of time, and the guy used it in his show and mentioned Phil.
Burn it. Did he burn it?
Good shot.
Yeah. But anyway, so let me see.
Should come with us, Brian.
Yeah, it's April Fool's Day, so I didn't trust you guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He's got better things to do than hang out with you guys.
Especially Saturday night, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Saturday night.
Yeah, there was a bigger room that they put us in. Not
Oh, really?
to put Larry in.
Huh.
Nice.
What do you mean? What do you mean bigger room?
This is a pub called the Hearth
Mm-hmm.
on Geary Street.
It's in the avenues in San
Yeah,
Francisco.
out by 11th Avenue. And when Larry did his show, he was doing a recording, I guess, for a record. Brian and I and some others went and went to that one, and it was in a very small area of the bar. You know, he maybe was on a 3 or 4 foot square platform, and now for Ruben, they moved him into the pool room, and it was a much bigger room. They had about 60 people in it.
Oh, the other side. The other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, listen, the theme is playing. I don't know. Can you hear the theme? I always thought you could.
No,
you can't hear it. No,
We trust you. We trust you.
I'll have to figure out why you can't hear it. But anyway, and that's it for tonight. Boy, thank you so much. Jeff, thank you for being here tonight.
Say goodbye.
There he is. He's back home again in Connecticut.
I know why they can't hear the theme.
Why?
If you play it through that board where you have the special effects, then it will play on this. But it's the mix minus.
Well, whatever. Anyway, hey, thank you all. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you, Charlie. Always a pleasure to see you here. And Alan, nice having you here once again. Brian Nunn, always a pleasure. Phil, Tony, nice having you here. And of course, very nice to have Adrian join us tonight. Thanks for being with us tonight, Adrian. There she goes. She waves goodbye as well. Hey, that's it. Everybody wave goodbye, and I'll wave goodbye at you. Okay, there we go. There they go, folks. That's our, let's see here. There they go. That's our citizen panel. Let me just turn them all off and get ready to let our good friend join us tonight, and that is Jack Bishop next, over most of the same Gabnet. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.